In today's video, we're going to be resoling these Redwing 1907s that have been sent in by a customer. He's had them for 18 years and has had lots of resoles done in that time. He said they've had new welts at some point as well, so that'd be interesting to see. They need new welts again because his belt drive motorbike has chewed through the heel area on this, so it's not possible to reuse the welts that are on there now. He's also asked to go all black, so these are getting dyed black, black welts, black midsole, black Vibram Christie wedge outsole, and black laces. So let's get started. So the customer said these had had new welts at some point, but I'm fairly sure they haven't. The type of stitch that was holding that welt on was a chain stitch, which is one thread that continuously runs through a series of loops and holds the welt on. That gets done by a machine, and generally speaking, when these get re-welted, if they were done by a machine, the machine wouldn't hit every single one of these holes that's in the upper, so you'd have some extra holes. And if they were done by hand, no one that I've seen is hand welting using a chain stitch. So I'm fairly sure that was the original welts. At this point, I'm removing some of the original stitching from the shoes. The type of stitch this is a standard lock stitch. So there is two threads, and the one that's on the inside has been worn through, which means that the outside one can just be pulled away. A lot of the stitching on the shoe is worn away from the outside, so I'm reinforcing or replacing any stitches that look like they could do with it. As you will have seen a minute ago, the gemming on these boots is beyond use. So the original stitches had torn through the sidewall of that canvas rib, which means there is nothing left to stitch to. So we're going to change that and ensure that these are good for the next 20 years. The footbeds themselves, there is nothing wrong with them. Whilst they may look well shaped, that is the customer's footprint that has been pressed into there over the last 20 years. So it would be a shame to change it. I've been asked a couple of times now why it is that I don't stitch the gemming to the footbeds. I've got my reasons as to why I don't do that, but I'll be addressing that in the next video with some examples of why it is that I don't stitch that gemming in. Anyway, let's get on with it.
the base of it all, they have had the wedge sole package in black with black storm welts and a leather midsole. The sole that we ended up using on these is actually an Svig wedge sole, because the 1907 is slightly wider with the storm welts than a standard mock toe from Redwing, and that extra bit of width combined with new storm welts was, and the fact that they were quite stretched and worn, meant that they didn't fit onto the width of a Vibram Christie wedge, so we couldn't use that. The underlying wedge sole package is available on our website. None of the extra stuff like the dyeing, all the stitching and any of those things is on the website, but if you needed that, it would be best just to send me a message before you sent your shoes in. I'll put a link to the website with all our resole packages in the description below, along with a discount code that will get you 10% off of all resoles that are ordered through the website. See you in the next one.